and our special guest, Reverend Dr. Edmund Sackey Brown. All
Paint pen is better than a sharp brain. Whatever you write down several years back, you can go to refer to it. So you are giving people something that they have permanently with them, they can refer. So that's one reason I prefer that the spoken word should be decoded.
Heute wird ein besonderer Tag für uns alle und wir haben einen besonderen Gast, einen Gottesmann, soll ich so sagen. Und der hat was Besonderes, der möchte was mit uns teilen, seine Leidenschaft, was er gerne mag, was er liebt, in Kombination mit seinem Dienst, den Herr ihm berufen habe.
Der auch heute noch Wunder, Stunde um Stunde, Tag für Tag, Tag für Tag.
Sharp personality, so I wanted to walk in a room with presence, and everything I had to say will be worth listening to. So I started not only losing weight, I started educating myself. I wanted to be the best in my field, an expert. I wanted to discipline my body. I'm in charge of you, my body. I'm keeping you active. I'm building my metabolism. I want to be mentally available, and I wanted to protect my peace of mind. So I had all of this. If you can...
I greet you this evening. Depending on your location or your destination. Yes, this is Manuel on your way coming live on Grace Networking, our studio live in Mohiam under Germany. Yes, today I feel so excited. You know what? Because we get a very special package for our wonderful listeners and all members of Grace Networking. When you talk about Grace Networking, what are you talking about? Grace Networking is a network group of young people across the globe. We talk about Asia, Africa, North America, Europe, and then what have you. We got members from all these destinations or continents. Yes, today on our edition of My Passion Story, the passion is big. I tell you, this is a program that you cannot afford to miss. This is the 3rd edition. And today, it's so special because we have a wonderful personality. When I talk of personality, you got to know what I'm talking about. It's a person who has a very great impartation and unction of God upon his life. All right. So without wasting much time, unfortunately, I would like to apologize to our viewers out there. We're supposed to start exactly at 7 p.m., but, difficulties just pop up. So we apologize for that. Before I introduce to you on our high seat, our renowned man of God, let's quickly take you through our sponsor for this program. Yes, I will talk about Higher Heights and Deeper Depths. It's a Christian online blog that's always broadcasting Christian newsletters and then what have you. You can go online and find them, follow them. Yes, and then we're talking about Fresh Manna Bookshop or Fresh Manna Publication. Yes, it is. You can talk about assorted Christian books, books for ministry work, books for, Christian marriage, or if you are not a Christian, you can also have a copy of it. Books for young people who want to be great in future, and then what have you. They also have kids' books, I guess so, right? Yes, and then it is located in Germany, Mohiam and the Ruhr. And that is where we are today. We've been talking about Fresh Manna Publications a couple of months as we started our project. But today we are just live there. And then that is why we have come this far. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, what I will encourage you out there, just sit strategically in your very homes and just follow us, share the link to people out there. Just be kind to somebody, share the link that, hey, my passion story. Today on the passion story, we have the writer's passion, vision, and motivation. Wow, it is really very deep package, all right? And just share the link out to other people to follow us. It is Grace Networking. The network is working. The passion is big. Yes, without much ado, I'll just go straight up. Excitement, I'm so privileged because to have an encounter with such a man of God, such personality, It's not easy. I am so excited. And we're not going to take it for granted. We are so appreciated. I want to welcome you to our passion story, a very high personality. I mean, he's a man who is married, or a husband, a passionate, an educationalist, a motivationalist. He is a psychologist. I tell you, he is a preacher of the gospel. All right? And above all, he is an author. Yes. I want to welcome our special guest, Reverend Dr. Edmund Sackey Brown, all the way from Germany.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Sir Emmanuel, for inviting me to come on this program. Very excited about that. Thank you so very much. God bless you. God bless you.
Wow, Daddy. We are so much happy about this day because we really know that you are going to give us a lot of keys as young people out there, and those keys can be used to unlock every room that can really help young people out there.
Pretty much so.
Okay, it's so exciting. Yes, as we get started, today we're talking about our daddy's passion, vision, and motivation. It needs to be told. It needs to be heard. And that's why we are here. We are here with our daddy. So, Daddy, you are looking so wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
You know,
God is
he looks young, you know.
God
He's still looking young. I think he's going to tell us, the key why he's still young and energetic. Yes. Daddy, we're getting started. How do you describe your passion, vision, and motivation?
Well, I think that a passion is something that consumes a person. It's something that you want to live for. Your passion is, or my passion basically, it's what drives me. It's the driving force in what I do. And perhaps one can say it's my basic desire. Now, let me put it this way. The essence of a man, or essence, is the makeup of a person.
Wow.
And the expression is how that thing behaves.
Okay.
Now, the drive to behave that in your expression is what you define as a passion.
Oh, wow.
Now, so your passion is the expression that drives you, because your makeup, which is your essence, can only be evidenced when you have that drive. To show that. And so my passion to do things, whether it's writing, preaching, teaching, counseling, guiding, training, whatever that is the expression of my essence.
Wow.
It's the driving force behind my life. And I think that it helps me to be able to give out what I have, who I am, and what I intend or hope to be. So that's what I'll say to start with.
Wow.
My vision is clear, you know. I think I need to make some breakdown, as you mentioned this. A vision is a destination. It's something you want to be, you are not yet.
Okay.
It's something you want to do, you haven't done yet. Whatever you have gotten done is no longer a vision, ceases to be a vision. So vision is progressive. And as such, you need to have a continual renewing of visions in your life in order to keep progressing. Now, when you talk about motivation, it's like the engine that drives a car. And if you can't self-motivate yourself, you'll not be able to move yourself in the fulfillment of the vision. So take, for example, you want to go from here to Berlin or whatever distance you want to cover. You need an engine to drive you.
Wow.
You know where you're going to go, but what drives you is your motivation.
Wow.
And that is it. That is the engine of one's life. So you can have a vision, but without motivation, you can't fulfill it. And you can have a vision, and without passion, you can't express it.
Wow. That's really, really deep. It's really, really deep. And that is, what has been your greatest passion? Because a lot of people talk about, my passion, I'm into this, I'm into that. And what has been your greatest passion?
I think my greatest passion is to help people. It's to see people progress. It's to see people make it in life. My greatest passion is to see people educated, people get to a place where they are, kind of well off in life, and I'm not just referring in terms of finances and stuff, but I want to see people develop. I want to see people stand on their feet. I want to see people, like they say as a cliche, make it in life. I want to see people, helped. And that's one of my passions. So whatever I do is directed towards this passion. My passion is people.
Wow.
People. Get people and help people and make people who they are created to be.
Wow. That's really good. And Daddy, my next on the tip is, when did you realize to be a pastor, or for that matter, a writer?
Well, I think that when I got born again in early 1979, I did not know I was going to be a pastor. I just got born again. I was a Muslim, got born again, and all I had was I just love God, want to serve him. I had this passion to get close to God and to preach the gospel, but I was basically not oriented personally to be a pastor. But I get along the line, I had a calling to be a pastor. It was impressed on my heart. Nobody called me forward and said, God is calling you to be a pastor. Like today, a prophet tells you this and that. No, I didn't have any of that. It's just an impression in my heart, and I believe I'm called. I remember I used to play football so strongly. Wow. I was playing a lot of football, and one time, after all night, went to play football, and I got fractured. My leg got fractured. And I had to be in POP for about 3 months. I started reading the Bible all over again. Suddenly, I came across a lot of things, and out of it, in fact, Exodus chapter 3 was a key point for me, where God called Moses and sent him out to deliver his people. I realized at that point God was speaking to me. And later on, I heard an audible voice. I heard this voice from God leading me to do his work. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, but I had that conviction that I'm called to do a ministry. I didn't jump into ministry all of a sudden. It took years, because at that point I think I was just about 14 years or 15. Wow. But it took years, and I guess in 1986 is when I went into full-time ministry.
Wow.
And there I went into full-time ministry. At that point, I think I haven't written any book yet, but I had a book in mind. I began writing.
Okay.
And I think 1985 there, I remember I started writing book on time.
Okay.
I wrote it on, pieces of papers. I have this flat file in Ghana those days, and I was scribbling those stuff on. But then that book got published 2020.
Oh.
So I started that point, but that got published. Obviously, other books came up before then anyway, but that's where it started.
Yeah. Well, that is really very good. That is taking us to, past histories and how things got started and where he is now. So, that I want to ask, so a pastor, a motivationalist, a psychologist, what have you, a dynamic speaker for young people, and then, yes, an author. How do you combine all these to be effective?
Well, I think that one of the greatest treasure everybody have is time, and time management skill is always important if you are going to maximize your potential in life. There are people who take time and they don't use time wisely, they waste them. And if you're going to do all that you mentioned that I do, you have to have a time management skill. You have to know what is called scheduling. Wow. And you schedule your time for what you need to do at what time, and you have to be disciplined with it. Otherwise, you won't be able to accomplish much in the day. So it's not how much time you have really, but what you do with the time you have. So it's not that easy, but it's doable. In my case, it takes high level of discipline. I have to be very disciplined if I need to do these things. In the absence of discipline, I won't be able to do that. Yeah. So I would say I'm able to do all these things because I schedule them and I apply myself to discipline to get them done. And that way, I'm able to do those or these things that I do. Let me say this. It's not straightforward and easy. Okay. You got to fight hard to get these things done.
Wow. That's very, very good out there. Yes, our wonderful listeners, on Grace Networking all over the continent. people who are listening to us, what I will urge you is that bring your comments at the comment button. Just write, and then where you are or your location. Our daddy got a lot of keys for us, and I tell you, don't be a dropper. Don't just stay away. Just follow us. Okay, so we continue the show. The writer's passion, vision, and motivation. So, Daddy, how long does it take you to write a book?
Well, I think to answer these questions, I would say it varies depending on the kind of book I want to write and the amount of information I want to give out there. So, like I just mentioned earlier on, the book On Time, I think I started writing in 1985. That was scribbling stuff and writing them. However, that book finally came out in the year 2020. Of course, I'm not writing every day on that book. When the idea comes, I go back to it and leave it, go back to it, leave it, and it takes time. Other books can take me 3 months, others 1 year, and it varies. Some 6 weeks, some 2 years, depending on the kind of book I want to write and the kind of information I want to give out there. Inspiration is also a key. Sometimes you have no inspiration, so you can't write anything. So you just have to leave and wait until you have that inspiration before you go back. So I would say that if anybody is trying to write a book and it's taking 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, don't kill that vision. Don't get frustrated. Just keep on doing it.
Keep on.
Have that tenacity, has that resilience, and God will let you get there one day, like I did mention. My first ever book I published was in 2008.
Wow.
Although I started writing those things down as manuscript at 1985, but the first time I published a book, the first book was 2008.
Wow.
So you need to believe that something will happen one day and push on till it happens.
Wow. This is what our daddy, an inspirational speaker, a preacher, is talking about. Wow, we really, really love it. And Daddy, my next question is, why does spoken word need to be codified into a written form? Because we have like people of your personality or men of God, they're like, oh, I'm just preaching is okay. But why does they need to codify it into a written form?
Well, a few reasons why I prefer or choose the part that I put it in a written form. Number one, faint pen is better than a sharp brain.
Wow.
Especially when people sit down and hear you, the amount of knowledge they assimilate comparatively won't be 100%. And thereafter, they forget so quick. The attention spans of human being after 45 minutes start dropping. And so I always believe that if you want people to benefit fully from the gift, the word, like you said, the spoken word, whatever message you have, I believe that the best way to do that is to put it in writing. I repeat, faint pen is better than a sharp brain. Whatever you write down several years back, you can go to refer to it. So you are giving people something that they have permanently with them, they can refer. So that's one reason I prefer that the spoken word should be decoded. Number two, knowledge in itself, it's important. It must outlive you. Now, if you don't put it in writing, when you die, the knowledge is death.
Wow.
Whatever knowledge you have is gone. So if you want it to outlive you, what you would do, therefore, is to be able to basically put it down so it can be used for posterity. That knowledge can be used for posterity. And thirdly, you also want to make sure that you are creating what I call a system of education. Because whatever you write down into a book, it becomes what I would call an asset, an asset that can be used for education.
Wow.
As well.
Wow.
And then put it this way. Because of the books, I am here, sitting down here, but currently my book is preaching to tens of and hundreds of thousands of people all over the place. So it's also important to know why you need to write for future and posterity purposes, which I believe it's a very important thing that we do.
Wow. So it's also a way like where you cannot go, the books can be there.
Sure, the books will travel there and give the same information.
Will give the same information.
Yes.
Yeah. So likewise, like Corona era like this, people cannot fly
Yeah.
to go and perform or minister, books can be sent there. It can be sent through online. It can be sent as posting or whatever. Well, so that's a very, very good vision. And yes. Okay, so our wonderful people out there, we are still on the show. It's getting louder and exciting. Yes. Oh, Daddy, I would like to know how many languages can you speak? And how many languages are your books written in?
Well,
so that people can also know, oh, I can get a copy of your book in this language, my preferred language. Okay.
Well, I can speak, including my local languages. By that I mean from Ghana, all put together with all languages, 11.
Wow!
Speak 11 or 11 languages. Sometimes it's a bit confusing, but you survive if you know who you are talking to, and then you switched over to that language. It's exciting. Now, the reason why I love that is because you connect with people almost everywhere you go, and people enjoy when you talk to them in their language. They open up easily. Yes. So that way, you can touch the heart of people. The books are written in 4 languages currently, in English, French, German, and Spanish. Yes. Wow. I have Freshman and Daily Devotion that is in 5 languages. That means that people can get it. It's English, French, German, Spanish, and Italian. So
wow.
That's how we are so far. Hopefully we'll expand the languages as God gives us the opportunity.
That's really amazing. So people out there who are maybe doubting, can I be able to get a copy of these books? It is not only in English, neither is it only, but do you also have it in Chi?
Well, we'll get there very soon. We'll get there very soon.
Also, Ga and okay, that is really nice.
We'll get there.
Okay, very good. Daddy, you mentioned of fresh manner devotional. Yeah, I think I really like it so much. The fresh manner
daily devotion.
Daily devotion. Do you know one thing? This fresh manner daily devotion saved me one day.
Wow.
Because Daddy posts this early as possible in the mornings. And one time I was supposed to go to work, I overslept. But I had this message. Actually, no matter who you are, I wouldn't, get up. Getting this message. But I think that message, it was coming with power. I just have to wake up. So I really like it very much. Okay. So at this juncture, we would have a short commercial break whilst we will showcase our daddy's, books on our screen. So people out there, in a few minutes, we'll take a commercial break. Yes. Our daddy has written a lot books. You can testify about more than 50 books. Yes, and we have a couple of books on our screen now. So, yes. special guest, Reverend Dr. Edmund Sackey Brown. All
Paint pen is better than a sharp brain. Whatever you write down several years back, you can go to refer to it. So you are giving people something that they have permanently with them, they can refer. So that's one reason I prefer that the spoken word should be decoded.
Heute wird ein besonderer Tag für uns alle und wir haben eine besondere Gast, eine Gottesmann, soll ich so sagen. Und der hat was Besonderes, der möchte was mit uns teilen, seine Leidenschaft, was er gerne mag, was er liebt, in Kombination mit seinem Dienst, den Herr ihm berufen habe.
Der auch heute noch Wunder, Stunde um Stunde, Tag für Tag, Tag für Tag.
Sharp personality, so I wanted to walk in a room with presence, and everything I had to say will be worth listening to. So I started not only losing weight, I started educating myself. I wanted to be the best in my field, an expert. I wanted to discipline my body. I'm in charge of you, my body. I'm keeping you active. I'm building my metabolism. I want to be mentally available, and I wanted to protect my peace of mind. So I had all of this.